So I don't know that winter's over or not. It's still pretty early in the year. We're like, let's see, a week and a half into March. But temperatures have been in the 70s. They're going to be in the 70s all week. According to AccuWeather, we're not going to get down below freezing for a month, which doesn't seem quite possible. And it's fighter jet time. Yesterday we invaded Indiana. That looks like Kentucky's next on our agenda. Okay, well, we'll let that sound of freedom go for a few more minutes here, but I've talked about this before. In a lot of my videos I run single deeps, and apologize for the straight face, but hey, this Guardian Bee window is really super cool. I don't know if Terry's gonna put them back in the market or not, but this is a really cool thing. Running single deeps, and as soon as I start seeing the pollen start coming in, it's time for me to put on supers. Because in these single deeps, they fill up a super very fast. There's no place for them to go. If I'm not giving them space, then my bees are swarming in like 2 weeks, and I really don't want that. So I want to stay ahead of the game, and it also helps me produce a lot of honey. I was in some hives yesterday, had one hive had 5 full capped frames on it, and another had 7 full capped frames, which just kind of blows me away. Once they get going here in the spring, they're going gangbusters. So we're going to get into these hives, and we're going to put some supers on them. I want to just do a quick check, kind of explain what I've got going and how I change things over from winter to spring. I'm going to take the insulation off too. Still going to leave the insulation on top. And in fact, I'm probably going to leave a little insulation on top all through the summer. It's kind of something else I'm going to try a little bit, and we'll, keep you posted on that. Okay, so let me go get my smoker, and we're going to get on with this. Let's see what we got going here. Well, first things first, I'm pulling all the insulation. I think we're enough out of the woods that it won't get that cold. And hey, it's the top that I'm more concerned about than anything. We will be piling all the insulation in the back of Sparky for that trip all the way back to the house, which is not very far. Okay. Pull all this off. This is my top insulation. And that's good. Boy, I was in some hives yesterday in another bee yard, and things were soaking. So, it wasn't in the hive. I just don't have any idea why I had that kind of moisture. But we're going to pull this off. And I'm always curious to see how much of the candy boards they've eaten. Yesterday, every hive I was in had completely finished its candy board, which surprised me, but then I was down in the supers and they had plenty of food. So let's see what we got going here. Actually, I want this top because there are going to be bees underneath this quilt board. Well, these guys have got quite a bit of it left. I might just leave it on for them. Okay, I don't know why they're building comb there, but we're going to smoke them off of that. Makes no sense why they'd build that comb up there, but bees will do what bees will do. They're doing the walk. Lots of bees, things are looking pretty good. Okay, I'm not sure where do I want to put this. Dave's making it up as he's going along. We're gonna move this here, we're gonna move this here, then we're gonna move all this down here. Trying to create as least amount of collateral damage as I can. I'm gonna leave these beetle traps in, though I'm not seeing any beetles. And I do want to smoke these guys down and get my burlap going here. Just checking the temperature. I don't want it to be too hot, but I do want these guys to bail down for me a little bit. Just makes it easier for me to see what's going on. And I'm hoping that I don't have a queen up here laying, which should not be unusual. And the way I handle that, man alive, I guess the propolis is flowing already. The way I handle that is I basically come back with an empty super. I'm not going to do it today. I just want to get supers on and get things moving. Man alive, things are glued. Come on, let go. Oh my God, look at that. So that's how busy they are. I don't know if you can see that, but that's all nectar. It's insane. I'm gonna lean that frame. I want to get in here a little bit. If the queen is not laying up here, then it's all honey. This is why in the spring you want to get on these single deeps really fast, because they are going to get full very fast. I do have to make sure that I don't have anything up here. Come on, Mr. Smoker, I don't know why you are acting up for me today. Okay, so I do have brood up here. In fact, I've got a ton of brood up here. So yeah, I'm gonna have to come back, shake these out. I'm gonna put another super on though. But see, what I'll do is I'll come back and with an empty hive, I'll put an empty hive body on here and I will shake out all the bees that are on here into that hive body. That way, if I do have a queen up here, she's going to end up down in the below the, yeah, she's laying pretty well too. Yeah, good brood. Okay. So I'm going to super this, try not to roll a queen. Sorry about that, girl. Can you get out of there? Thank you. Okay. That's a lot of smoke, but I need the space. Excluder. Honey super. And the magic of it all, drawn frames. But boy, you gotta act fast because they will be on these in a heartbeat. So I'm gonna give the girls that are making wax something to do besides put a bunch of wax where it doesn't belong. One more, close this up. I will be back next week to switch these around, shake the bees down below, check how this is going. I am temporarily going to leave this candy board on. And for giggles, they're going to get a pollen patty. Now, I put small amounts of pollen patty on because, and even though I didn't see any hive beetles, they're around, even though you don't want them to be. And I would just as soon have the ability. Okay, so I put a small amount of pollen patty on it. And the reason I just put a small amount is because hive beetles love to lay eggs in to pollen patties. It's one of their favorite spots. If I don't give them a lot of pollen patty and the bees will eat it before the eggs go in, then I don't have to worry about it becoming a hive beetle breeding ground. Okay, so you saw what was going on with that, and I'm going to move on down the line here to these two, and then I've got 2 more singles that I want to get into today. I won't go through all of them. I'll show you this one, then I'm just going to finish off the work. I just want you to see kind of what you do, or what I do with single deeps in the spring and early spring. You got to put supers on the second you start seeing pollen come in, because as I showed you, they've already filled up that space. So they get honey bound very quickly because they don't have a full deep super that they've eaten all the honey out of that they need to then refill. But the flip side of these singles is, number one, I'm able to get down into this brood chamber really easy. So I'll be doing that next week. And I'm not lifting 80-pound boxes of honey or 60 or 50 or whatever they weigh right now. It's just so much easier on me, and my honey production just goes through the roof. I'll just keep adding supers on top of these. And they'll just keep producing for me. So, people go, well, what do they do to get through the winter? Well, let's see, we just had a really harsh winter. And, I'm tending 20 hives right now, and all 20 of them made it through the winter. Combination singles and condensing hives. And I think that made all the difference in the world. They're happy, they're healthy, and I was plowing through some drone comb yesterday, not a mite to be found, so that made me feel good as well. Mite counts are low going into the summer. I'm hoping that I can keep them down as we progress, but that's part of my integrated pest management system, and we're going to talk about that here in a few weeks as I actually start doing some initial treating for varroa mites. So let's, I'm going to dive into this hive. Same as last time, take the insulation off. Done with it for the year. I guess I certainly did something to irritate these couple of guard bees. I'm gonna need this top, now realizing I forgot to put that insulation back on. I still want to keep that just for right now. Doesn't hurt, could help, so I'm doing the same thing, aren't I? I'm leaving my insulation everywhere. So that's the third one of those to come in. And they're all carrying extra fuel tanks. Interesting. Well, I will reserve comment. I think the Painter's Tape Factory owes me a thank you for giving them their Christmas bonus this year, because God knows I've used enough of it this year. So I'm going to just take a peek and see where these guys are at with a candy board. They got a long way to go. So obviously I'm leaving that on. I'm hoping what I see on this hive is encouraging. Okay, lots of frames of bees, that's a good thing. I don't know why I'm having such a devil of a time with this burlap today. It's always my go-to, but it's a new batch, so possibly that's the issue. Okay, that all looks like honey. The queen's laying, it's over here. Yep, she's up here. Lots of new brood too. Okay. Well, again, I'm going to be back next week. We're going to shake these down. And what I'll do then, if I didn't say it before, we'll say it now, is that I shake everybody down into the bottom box. Make sure the queen is down in that bottom box. From there, I put on a queen excluder. I just let all that brood hatch. And then, after that brood is hatched, the bees will come back and fill it. You know, the bees are just going to do it over again, so let me save them the hassle. Okay, get a little bee space. Put these guys back on. Pollen patty. And if you're new to pollen patties, no, you do not need to take the wax off. The bees will chew that out very quickly. I'm just going to place that there. Let the bees do their thing. You get out of there. You get out of there. You've got a choice. Don't make a bad one. Okay. Insulation goes back on top, and I'm done with this hive. So there you have it. Springtime in the bee yard. It's exciting time. It's like, you know, it gets to be a long winter. So that's what you got. Nothing crazy exciting, but just that's how you do it. And what you do, again, I'll come back. I'm going to be shaking the bees that are in here down into the bottom. As I'm looking at those frames there, the queen really doesn't have any other room to lay. So as those hatch out, the bees will come up here, fill this super as well. I wouldn't doubt that in 2 weeks I'll be putting a third super on top of these hives, the way things are going. So again, thank you. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do. And likes are important as well. So if you liked this or you like any of my other videos, please feel free to hit that. I'm going to talk real quick because another jet's coming in. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for happy beekeeping. And I don't know. It's one of those days at the Air Force Base. So anyways, you guys take care.